right, well, we're back for our quarterfinals matchup, and it's actually a matchup, surprisingly enough, that we haven't seen yet. We've got Infect, played by Taylor on our left-hand side, and Jund on our right-hand side, played by Seahawk. So you have anything fun or interesting we got going on here?
Besides, I love Infect, and he does have some spicy card deck-like advantage here. Stuff we haven't seen in Infect. Generally, he's got a one single slip through space.
Okay.
One Apostle's Blessing.
Okay. Main deck, interesting.
Yeah, main decking on that. Very interesting deck tech.
Yeah, that's I guess, hey, if you have to replace Gitaxian Probe somehow.
Oh man, you
I
really
guess.
do.
Yeah,
and we're gonna find ways to like surprise our opponents, I guess, right?
Yeah. So and with Seahawk playing Jund over here, kind of a standard Jund build. You know, some of the discussions to have, or whether or not to play some Hunt Masters in the main, or what the kind of breakdown is of in the 4-drop slot. Some people choosing to play the 4-drop Chandra, but we've got 2 Hunt Master, 2 Kalitas, or 1 Kalitas, pardon me, and kind of a standard build otherwise. And oh look, the typical Jund type start, turn 1 discard spell. Okay, that's pretty cool. Oh, what is that weird full art looking card? That's a Glistener Elf?
Is that?
Yep, that's a Glistener Elf.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, didn't
I
even
want
know.
4.
Yeah, didn't even know.
I didn't even know.
They made like a game day
full art
promo
one.
version of that. But interestingly enough, 2 of kind of the spicy
man.
cards in the opening hand. Main deck Viridian Corruptor and Slip Through Space.
So already knows our secret deck tech. It's all out.
Yes. So taking the turn 1 3-drop, which seems interesting, which probably leads us to believe that there's probably like a Fatal Push or a Lightning Bolt in the in the opening hand, so not having to take the turn 1 play.
Picks up a Abrupt Decay, so definitely can handle at least something if we get some green mana down, and it does have a forest.
We've got
in
a
hand.
forest. So what do we lead off here? We've got the potential for another discard spell. We've got Tarmogoyf that we can play, or even Dark Confidant to start that.
Yeah,
that
we're
value
gonna keep
trade.
that hand control, see what's going on.
Yep.
What did we pick up?
Makes sense. Remove the other same kind of hand we've got now. We've got it's the same hand as before because Taylor played the Inkmoth Nexus. But yeah,
Which was what we picked up. There you go.
Remove the slip through space. Oh no,
No,
let's remove
let's
the.
take the
Infector.
real threat there.
Yeah. Still having the Inkmoth Nexus.
I think that's why he held on to the big creature first,
Yeah.
and then
I mean, the way you kind of win here is if they can't, and there's no infect creature.
but he's got a Nexus down, so
yeah, no, that's true.
Still
But
at a
kind
cost
of
disadvantage.
stranding the infect creatures is a way to do it. Because if there's only one, then you only have to worry about having one removal spell. Yeah, exactly, and then you can kind of play the game that you want to play. Unfortunately, the Abrupt Decay not being able to hit lands. Well, I guess it would be really bad if it was able to hit lands. Bad in terms of gameplay.
definitely.
But
And the feels.
Yeah.
I'd feel bad.
yeah, exactly. But being able to not kill the Inkmoth Nexus is a little bit unfortunate, but I have a feeling that the Jund deck is going to have a couple other removal spells. Okay. Breeding Pool into, I'm guessing, the Noble Hierarch that we just drew. Yep. And I guess that's one of the things discard spells don't protect you from. The top of your opponent's deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those top decks can be pretty sweet. And he just keeps on going. I mean, that's not too bad. We've hit all our lands, whereas the Jund player is going to now, I should say. He's did that at end of turn. And then we have a natural pump for our Blink Moth whenever we want to get that rolling.
Yeah. It's turned into, instead of having to deal, 10 attacks, now it's only 5. Granted, we're planning on using mutagenic growth and all those types of things. Oh, look at that. We've got potential Liliana. So many plays on our Jund player side. We don't have another discard spell, so we can Liliana into holding up potentially, a Bolt or something. Or, pardon me, Tarmogoyf for a Dark Confidant. There isn't a Bolt in hand, But now it's just kind of deciding what do we have. Is that a Kolaghan's Command that I saw?
It is right on top.
Yep, that seems pretty strong. Interestingly enough, the Inkmoth Nexus, pardon me, when animated, is an artifact creature.
There you go.
And one of the separate modes is destroy an artifact. So I smell a 2-for-1 coming. Yeah, kill that Noble Hierarch, destroy that Inkmoth Nexus. And because Kolaghan's Command, the destroy artifact part, isn't damage-based, you don't really have to worry about... What is that? Mutagenic Growth. There we go. It would help if I, once again, remembered cards past 45 seconds. Yes. Oh, jeez.
Lots of shuffling.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it was a little bit of a slow start. I guess the discard spells from our Jund player make it so that...
You can't fetch in proper time.
Yeah, it's exactly... doing exactly what Jund wants to be doing. Kind of that attrition-style gameplay, wearing down the opponent's resources. And
swinging in for 2 and taking it. Does he take it because he knows that there's a mutagenic curse that he's got to kind of dance around, or?
Well, these are oftentimes kind of the best play. It plays around a pump spell, or it plays around a Vines of Vastwood, because if our Infect player wants to be able to save the Inkmoth Nexus, then and our Jund player does this Kolaghan's Command during the combat step, that means Vines of Vastwood is gonna get in extra damage, and if our Inkmoth or Infect player wants to save it now, then Vines of Vastwood gets wasted for no extra value. So a good play, waiting until the end step to be able to do those kind of things, often going to get the most bang for your buck. Granted, having the Infect counters already up it's always scary, because you never know when you're just going to get killed.
Counting to 10 is so much easier than 20.
Yeah. Well, it's also a little bit more difficult when you don't have an Infect creature on the battlefield.
That's kind of true.
Yeah. Yeah, getting those first 2, not too bad. Getting the next 8, that's a little bit of a different story.
But we've got Lily help out our Jund player. Definitely going to see about discarding.
Yep. Makes sense. Liliana is not, or Noble Hierarch by herself, not all that worrisome, so you don't have to worry about making our opponent sacrifice a creature. But just wearing away at the Infect player's resources. Pretty sweet beanie our Infect players got on. But wearing away at...
black.
Yes.
I like black.
Wearing away at the Infect player's hand, just stripping any potential counter spells, any potential...
Oh, and that's what that slip through
spells.
place is for. It's for card draw. That's not too bad to get that Infect creature in there when you do have one. And to get that card draw. Card draw is definitely going to help out our Infect player.
Yeah, worst case scenario, it's I guess now it's one of those worst case scenarios. You just need to cycle, and sometimes you got to cycle. And getting in for 1 with the Exalted Trigger, better than none, certainly.
Especially on the Lily.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to Abrupt Decay our second Infect guy.
Oh, and now...
Going down to... Was that a 1?
Yes.
That is a 1.
Now we've determined that, alright, with 1 card in hand, odds are we're in a pretty good position to be able to either remove threats or make sure that we can play around an additional Infect creature. And if the Infect player didn't draw another Infect creature, then, well... Oh, instead, worst case scenario for our Infect player, Liliana into Liliana, and, dear. Just replacing the Liliana, continuing to be on 1 loyalty counter, but also, thankfully, removing that Infect creature. So now we're at the point where kind of just we get to spin our wheels a little bit and discard some cards. Yeah, exactly. Take over the game slowly but surely. Really, at this point, all it requires is just 1 creature and kind of attacking. That's, a Tarmogoyf is massive at this point, because we've got the slightly more difficult creature or card type of Planeswalker to get rid of, or in the graveyard, and just a couple of beats, and our Infect players relying entirely on the top of the deck, and even if 1 Infect creature Taylor's draws are just going to have to be just amazing to be able to get past this.
Oh, and a Dark Confidant into
That was kind of
Tarmogoyf.
adorable. We're just at the same time that just groan
That does not bode well for our Infect player. It's,
Ooh,
and a
this is a spicy addition that I didn't notice earlier. Courser of Crewfix in the main deck. Not often played, but having that card advantage. Plus, I guess if it
with
ever
Dark Confidant.
Yeah.
You get to see what's coming at you and play around it. That's definitely knowledge is power, kids.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. Also, hey, I get to play lands from the top of my deck. Plus, hey, I guess when you're playing Tarmogoyf, having a way to be able to get an enchantment type in your graveyard, that's not the end of the world. That's pretty cool.
That
If
is.
if it happens to die. Plus, geez, look at that butt. It's massive. Wow. Okay, so gaining the life off the Ghost Quarter
And a
and
Maelstrom
Maelstrom Pulse and a Liliana, which presumably is going to be ticked up to 2. This is looking fairly grim. We've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage on the board. Our Infect player's at 9. Needs to have a creature or an instant speed way to produce a creature that isn't affected by Liliana. It's not looking good because the Ghost Quarter even takes care of an Inkmoth Nexus that could maybe block, but even if our Infect player is blocking, we're not really getting that far. Well, maybe Bobby is gonna do our Infect player dirty and or our Jund player dirty and do a lot of damage, but I think we've already kind of solidified the game.
Yeah,
And yeah, it
I've
looks
never
like our
seen
Infect
Scoop.
player packing them up. Well, that was kind of a typical Jund
matchup,
Jund
right?
game. Yeah, exactly.
You burn out, or you get enough damage done on those early creatures, and that's what you got going in your hand. You don't have too much gas to go on, and all of a sudden, if you knock down all the trees in the forest, as my daddy used to say, you put out that fire real quick.
Yes, yeah. Well, let's see if our Jund player can again go turn 1 discard spell into turn 2 discard spell into turn 3 Liliana,
wrecking
and
face?
yeah, just you have no board anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
Good
let's
luck,
see it.
Infect player. Come on, I
Woohoo!
believe in you.
Okay, I'm voting for Jund. Let's go. All right, see ya in the next game.